Here comes Bernie Sanders from behind. New polling in New Hampshire has Bernie Sanders in a statistical tie in the Granite State, with, of course, Hillary Clinton. And in a WMUR University of New Hampshire poll released yesterday, Sanders is trailing Hillary by about 6 percentage points, which is just within the poll's margin of error. So he could be in a statistical tie. Among Democratic voters surveyed, 36% responded that they would vote for Bernie Sanders, while 42% said Clinton. Now, Sanders is also leading Clinton in likability. People like Bernie Sanders more. And, of course, the measure of whether or not the candidate, quote, best represents Democrats like themselves. Bernie Sanders most represents Democrats like themselves, according to people in New Hampshire, which is great, which also means that Hillary Clinton doesn't represent Democrats. And yet, of course, she is leading among the polls, nationally especially. Very interesting. Now, Sanders, well, let's go with electability first. Now, Sanders and Clinton are virtually tied in terms of what they call net electability. Now, net electability basically measures the difference between the percentage of people who would vote for that candidate and the percentage of people who would not vote for that candidate. So when it comes to electability, well, it turns out that Sanders is at 30% and Clinton is at 32%. So when it comes to electability, they're really, really close. Interesting. Now, Sanders is, of course, narrowing the gap with Clinton, but there's 68% of those surveyed, even among Sanders supporters, still think that Clinton's going to win the primary in New Hampshire. 17% said no, Sanders is going to absolutely win in New Hampshire. Very interesting. A majority of respondents said that Clinton also has the best chance of winning the general election, and that she has, quote, the right experience to be president. Despite that, another poll taken by the NBC Wall Street Journal found that Clinton's favorability among likely voters has actually taken a nosedive. 48% of likely voters now see Hillary Clinton unfavorably. They see her in a negative light. Interesting. Now, personally, I think this has to do a lot with her not taking strong positions. For example, she keeps doing the, just wait and see when I'm president what I think about Keystone XL. What I think about the Trans-Pacific Partnership. I don't want to step on Obama's toes. I don't want to do that. Wait until I'm president, and then I'll give you an answer whether or not I'm going to support this. Get out of here with that. People don't like that. People like it when you actually take a stand on an issue, whether or not you're stepping on a president's toes. As I said, that bugs me. And let's be honest, even Donald Trump is honest where he stands on issues. Even though he's, of course, a complete raging buffoon, at least we know where he stands on these issues, where he stands on some issues. Now, NBC News also did report that Clinton's favorable-unfavorable ratio is identical to the one that Bill Clinton had going into the 92 nomination. Well, that's very interesting, as we know what happened after that. But I think that this is actually different. See, we have different politics now. It's a different scenario. Republicans have went off the deep end since 1992, compared to 92. And Hillary, she's fairly unchanged in some of her policies and a lot of her, ideals. She's still a centrist, establishment Democrat. And I think right now, a lot of people are getting tired of that. Now, back in 92, that wasn't so bad. But now, people are sick of it. At best, Hillary, I think, is considered a safe bet. She's considered a safe bet. And I think a lot of Democrats are so worried about a Trump presidency or a Scott Walker or, God forbid, another Bush. And so they feel that Hillary is the safest bet, despite the fact that I don't really see a lot of excitement for Hillary. Yes, she'd be the first woman president. And that is exciting. I would be happy to have a woman president. Not her. Someone else who's a little bit more favorable, who shares my positions on a lot of things. But despite that, I don't think she's exciting a lot of liberals. Not the way Bernie Sanders is. And to be fair, also, she's not really exciting the base as much as Trump is exciting the Republican base. So, as I said, these poll numbers about Hillary's unfavorable ratings also goes to show why the establishment is actually starting to talk about drafting Joe Biden. I don't have a problem with Joe Biden. I like Joe Biden. Joe Biden's a nice guy. But I happen to align more with Bernie Sanders when it comes to the issues. And let's be completely honest about this. Let's keep it real here. I don't really care about the person as much as the policies, as much as the message. And as much as I like Joe Biden, and as much as I like somebody's personality, your personality really shouldn't determine who gets your vote. I don't think that's the way that it's supposed to be. We shouldn't be voting on personalities. We should be voting on issues. And when it comes to the issues, I'm with Bernie Sanders.